200 kilometers east of Colombo, up at 1,000 meters above sea level, sits Ella. It's the anchor of Sri Lanka's hill country, defined by steep tea plantations, plunging valleys, and a significantly cooler climate than the coastal lowlands. If you picture a sleepy, untouched mountain village, you need to update your expectations. Today, Ella is a highly developed backpacker hub, packed with multi-story cafes, boutique hotels, and heavy daily tourist traffic. This rapid development creates a problem I call itinerary whiplash. Travel blogs notoriously mash up Ella's attractions into generic top 10 lists, placing a casual 15-minute stroll right next to a grueling 4-hour wilderness survival trek. If you blindly follow these lists without filtering them through your own baseline energy levels, you will either end up physically exhausted by midday or incredibly bored. This graphic breaks down the reality of the town into two categories: hill versus chill. You have to deliberately separate the high-exertion natural elements, the steep climbs and rugged trails, from the high aesthetic amenities like infinity pools and paved pathways. A successful trip to Ella isn't about checking every box. It's about matching the town's specific offerings directly to your personal tolerance for friction. This chart maps Ella's attractions by their return on investment. The horizontal axis tracks the physical and logistical effort required, and the vertical axis tracks the aesthetic payoff. Let's apply this to the two famous hikes. Little Adams Peak requires very little input. It's a roughly 1-hour round trip on a clearly marked, partially paved path. The output is immediate 360-degree views over the Ella Gap. But because the required effort is so low, you will share that exact view with heavy crowds, sacrificing authentic wilderness. Contrast that with Ella Rock. This requires a 4 to 5 hour commitment. The trail is notoriously unmarked. You have to navigate through dense tea plantations, and without an offline GPS app, you will likely get lost. The reward is escaping those tourist crowds entirely and earning a massive sense of accomplishment. But you pay for it with a steep, dusty ascent and severe midday heat. Both mountains deliver incredible views over the valley. The choice between them is purely a test of how much physical discomfort you are willing to endure. We apply that exact same framework to Ella's secondary natural draw, its waterfalls. The contrast in accessibility here is even starker. Looking at the chart again, we evaluate Ravana Falls. The input requirement is absolute convenience, just a 15-minute tuk-tuk ride from town to a viewing spot right on the side of the main highway. You expend zero physical exertion. In exchange, you get a highly commercialized environment. You share the waterfall with heavy traffic, aggressive street vendors, and roaming monkeys, and there is nowhere for a secluded swim. On the opposite end is Upper Diyaluma Falls. You have to pay a premium for a 90-minute taxi ride, haggle with a local guide, and hike up steep, slippery rock terrain. The payoff is massive. You get access to the top of Sri Lanka's second highest waterfall, which functions like an uncrowded natural water park, complete with rock slides and natural infinity pools. In Ella, natural exclusivity and privacy cannot be bought with an entrance ticket. They are strictly purchased with logistical effort and negotiation tolerance. Which brings us to the single biggest logistical headache for anyone traveling in Sri Lanka: how to actually get to the hill country. The famous Kandy to Ella Blue Train requires either booking reservations weeks in advance or standing in an unreserved car for a grueling 7 to 10 hours. The region's legendary railway architecture, specifically the 9 Arcs Bridge, is a masterclass in colonial engineering. Built entirely of stone and brick, it spans 91 meters across a dense green valley, making this specific train route a global bucket list item. It delivers an immersive, highly romanticized cultural experience. But thanks to frequent delays, you will burn an entire day of your itinerary in transit. The alternative is paying roughly 22,000 rupees, around $70 US, to hire a private intercity driver. A private driver reclaims massive amounts of your itinerary. It turns a 10-hour ordeal into a fast, comfortable 2 to 4 hour door-to-door drive, completely bypassing the railway delays. Transit planning for Ella is a zero-sum game. You must definitively choose between maximizing your limited vacation time or capturing the iconic cultural experience. This scorecard maps out 2 distinct itineraries based on the trade-offs we've covered. To avoid making the wrong bookings, you need to self-identify with one of these 2 columns: the aesthetic optimizer or the active adventurer. If you are time poor and prioritize comfort, you are the aesthetic optimizer. Limit your stay to a strict 2 nights and arrive via private driver to save time. Your low-friction schedule means an easy early morning walk up Little Adams Peak, midday at the 9 Arch Bridge, and restricting your afternoons entirely to infinity pools and cafe chill. Skip the massive treks. If you want to earn your views, you are the active adventurer. Expand your stay to 3 or 4 nights and mandate arriving via the immersive Kandy train. Your high-friction schedule requires waking at dawn with offline maps for Ella Rock and dedicating a full half-day to haggling transport to Upper Diyaluma Falls. For you, the town's cafes are just for rapid calorie refueling. Ella's heavy tourism development is actually its greatest strength because it allows the town to cater perfectly to both extremes. The only way to ruin a trip here is to let social media peer pressure you into the wrong itinerary.